Hey folks, it's Martin from Cobbled Folk Revival, and I just wanted to make a quick video today about first aid kits. And kind of the bottom line is, if you're gonna carry this, maybe you should be carrying this. I wrote a blog post about first aid kits because we just started carrying some first aid kits in our online shop, and kind of my thought on it is, even if you don't go out in the woods and make fires and carve sticks and things like that, everybody gets cut. I mean, it's part of life. And so, if you're the type of person who carries a pocket knife or in other ways is prepared for life's minor emergencies, why wouldn't you at least carry a few band-aids? So I wanted to show you a couple of the first aid kits that we stock, a couple of the ones that Annie and I carry, and also some quick little tips and tricks. So first of all, what I'm going to cover, I'm going to show you a trauma kit that I carry. If you can get training on how to stop major bleeding, how to pack wounds, how to apply a compression bandage, do it. That's been something that for me has been a real confidence builder, and something that I'm really glad to have had that training. However, just because I've had that training, I don't feel comfortable training anybody else on it. I think you should go to somebody with a lot more expertise than me, so I'm not going to even try to cover very much about that, except for just a couple quick little tips and tricks. At the very least, in a smaller first aid kit that doesn't address trauma, what should you have? You should have some band-aids, something to clean a wound, maybe something for bug bites. I think tweezers are a great idea. I also carry a tick spoon. I think those are, one of those gadgets that actually is really nice and useful and not very expensive, both in terms of your pocketbook, as well as they don't take up a lot of space and they don't weigh almost anything. So that's kind of the basics. One thing that I thought I'd show you, none of these tips and tricks are anything that I came up with on my own. A lot of them I wish I had, and this is one of them. So what does almost everybody have on them all the time is their cell phone. If you keep a few band-aids in the back of your phone case, you'll always at least have a couple of band-aids. And that's been something that has been extremely useful to me at different times. One time I was at a gathering, and a lady came up to me and was like, "I was told you'd be the guy with the band-aids." And sure enough, I was in a suit. I wasn't carrying some of the stuff that I normally carry, but I always have my phone with me, and so I was able to give her a band-aid. Let me show you. This is one of the first aid kits that we carry in the shop. Both of the ones that I chose to carry are from Adventure Medical. They're a company that I think is a good company, does a good job. This one is in this little hinged tin. It's a little bigger than an Altoids tin. It does not have room for a ton of stuff, but I think they do a good job of covering the basics. You got some band-aids. They include a whistle, which I think is, I didn't think it was a bad enough idea to take it out or anything, but I thought it was not something I would have included. Some good tweezers, antibiotic ointment, things for bug bites, some alcohol pads, butterfly bandages, some bigger bandages, and a big, pretty good sized piece of moleskin. They also throw in a couple of safety pins. So overall, pretty nice little kit. Doesn't take up a lot of space, and what I like about this, and I'll show you the other one we carry is a little bigger. what I like about this, it's a reusable container, so after I use the Band-Aids or anything else, I can restock it with my own stuff. Or, you know, it does have a little bit of room to add other things that you might want to have in it. Like, for example, this is another kit that I keep in one of my other bags. It's one of those old vintage Band-Aid tins, and you know, I think that first aid kits should be readily identifiable as a first aid kit. So I really like them to be red. This one, yeah, red and white, but it says Band-Aid right on it. My reasoning behind that is I want somebody else to be able to get into my bag and pull this thing out. But this kit that I keep this one in is one that has more of like a hobo-craft, trash-craft, post-apocalyptic feel. So I wanted the older looking junkier kit, but I still wanted to have a kit. I carry a lot of the same things in it. One of the things that I added to this one that I highly recommend is one of these little travel tubes of over-the-counter pain pills. So I take Aleve a lot because my back hurts me a lot. You know, it's like vitamin A for me, but whatever your preferred brand is. This one also has, I had mentioned, the Tick Spoon. You can get a 3-pack of these for like a few bucks, and I think they're well worth it. Let me show you. This is the bigger version kit that we carry in the shop. Has a lot of the same type of stuff with a little bit more, I guess, advanced stuff for bleeding control, like a big roll of gauze. They include some over-the-counter pain meds. Again, one thing I like about this is that it's a reusable container. You can refill it or you can add your own things. A couple of things that I added to this one: right when you open it up, you see a headlamp and you see this small knife that you can open one-handed. And one thing I like about this knife in particular is it's a rounded tip. It's marketed to like scuba divers. It's got a oxygen tank key built into it that has no relevance to me, but if you're ever administering first aid, a lot of times things go wrong when it's not easy to see well, or even if it's like daytime but it's not the best lighting. Sometimes that headlamp is useful for being able to see what you're doing. And also, if you're cutting the tape or the bandages, especially if you're applying it to yourself, that one-hand opening knife is something that I think is really, really handy and really useful. A couple more things. This is a little trauma kit that I carry that I built myself. I'm not going to go too much into it, but it's got like gloves, tourniquet, compression bandage, quick clot. Again, if you can get that training, do so. The couple other quick tips: if you're ever carrying one of these like disposable water bottles and you need to wash out a wound, irrigate a wound, you can just drill a hole in the lid. You've got a nice little sprayer. Another quick tip that I picked up from one of our SWAT medics when I was on the police department is this is a compression bandage. Sometimes it's called an Israeli bandage. I guess because the Israelis came up with it. This one is marked made in Israel. So it has these little notches, these little cutouts where you're supposed to tear here. A lot of times, a lot of people's fingers get a little clumsy when they're, you know, applying first aid, because for a lot of A lot of times if somebody's badly hurt, that might be like a high stress situation for you. So something you can do, and I have never done it to this one, which is why I grabbed it out to demonstrate, is you can just take a piece of duct tape. Make sure you use good quality duct tape, not the kind that's spelled D-U-C-K, because I've not had good experiences with that particular brand. And fold it over though, and now you've got a bigger thing to grab onto and pull. You know, even if your hands aren't clumsy, that's one of those things, like, easier and faster is easier and faster. It's better. So I hope this helps. I'm gonna, in the description for this video, I'll link the blog post that I made, and hopefully these are good hand-in-hand things, but I know that some people would rather watch something than read something, so that's why I thought I'd make the video and include a couple of these little tips that I didn't fit into the blog post. Let me know any questions that you have, and be safe and be prepared.